I just adore this. I just adore this with my whole soul. Not to be dramatic. Hi, welcome back to Chess's Book Nook. A couple of videos ago I told you that I was in the middle of a reading slump. I'd just read a 5-star book, which was Blood over Brighthaven, and then I'd read another book that I'd like, and then for some reason I just went into a reading slump, and everything I was picking up, it just wasn't working for me. And I knew that it was me and not the books. It was whatever I tried, I couldn't get into it, I couldn't focus on it, I was just like, ugh. Then I picked up this book. This book destroyed my reading slump. This is one of the most beautiful books that I've ever read, and I feel so connected to it. I read it on my Kindle, and then I went out and bought this just gorgeous edition because I knew that I needed to have this on my shelves. I loved this book so much that when I finished it, I immediately reread it. That's how much I loved it. I didn't want to come out of the story. It was just so beautiful. So today I want to talk to you about what I loved about this book and why I think you should read this book and who's this book for. Okay, so first of all, this is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, and she's an author who I haven't read anything by before, but I will be reading everything that she's written now. Her writing is just gorgeous. Like, the prose are so lyrical, they are just stunning. This book is a retelling of Dracula's brides from the perspective of Constanta, his first bride, and Dracula is never actually mentioned in this. In fact, she very specifically states that she won't mention him by name, but it is based on him. But it's so much more than that. It isn't a Dracula retelling. It's something completely different, and it isn't like your standard gory vampire book. Nothing like that. This is fantasy, it's romance, it's horror, it's kind of genre defying, to be honest, and I've absolutely fallen in love with it. Like, if you watch my channel, you know that I do not give out 5-star ratings easily, and it's because when I find a 5-star book, I want to give those ratings. I want to reserve those ratings for my absolute favourite books, and this is like a 6-star book for me. Like, this is one of those books that's like, bury me with this book, that type of thing. So like I say, the book is told from the perspective of Constanta, and she is writing a letter to her former husband, and she says very clearly it's the last letter that she's ever going to write him. And it tells their story. It tells their story from start to finish, and it starts with her transformation, her becoming a vampire, him turning her into a vampire. That happens right at the beginning. And then we go through their journey. And it also features polyamory, so there is another wife who comes into this and another husband who comes into this. And it shows the toxic relationship that they have with the Dracula type. I don't know whether to just call him Dracula or not. They end up calling him just like my lord and things like that in here. It shows the toxic relationship between them, but it also shows an incredibly beautiful loving relationship between the other characters in this, and it is so beautifully done. And honestly, this has really made me question how I see polyamorous relationships, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't really understand it, and I think that it's not that I've ever had a problem with it or anything. Like, obviously people are free to do whatever they want as long as they're not harming anyone else, like, you know, have at it. But I've personally never understood it. I've never understood like sharing your partner with someone or being in love with multiple people, and this honestly, it changed my perspective, because seeing the depth of love that formed between the wives in here and the other husband who comes in, it's just so beautifully done, and seeing them come together, it's just brilliant. It also depicts abuse and abusive relationships, and again, it's really well done. So the Dracula type vampire is the abuser, and it shows really well how someone can both love you or claim to love you and then also abuse you and control you, and it shows why people would stay and why they see the good. And I think what's done so well is that it neither romanticizes the abuse or flattens the abuse. It just portrays it so well and so powerfully. And I really related to this. Like, full disclosure, I'm not going to say too much about this, but I have been in an abusive relationship. When I was younger, I was in a relationship that was both emotionally and physically abusive. And it took me a while to get away from that person. And a lot of the times people won't understand what you could have seen in someone who was so awful and so horrible. And it's not like you don't know that they have those traits at the time, because you do, and you see them. And in this, like, she very much sees all the horrible things that he does. But he's not just that, he is more than that. And it felt very real to me. It felt like a place that I understood very well, and seeing her torn and how she was going to get out of it, and still feeling that love for him but also kind of hating him at the same time. It was just so well done, and I think a lot of people will relate to this. I mean, even the dedication in the beginning, it says, "To those who escaped a love like death, and to those still caught in its grasp, you are the heroes of this story." So this book is very much written for people who have that understanding of it. It's not that you need to have that understanding of it, but if you don't, it will give you that understanding. And the way that the other relationships in this develop, how it starts off with just the Dracula type figure and Constanta, and then he brings in this other wife. I'm not spoiling anything by the way in this. This is literally on, like, this is in the blurb. Like, he brings in this other wife, and it's not her choice, and yet the story shows how they blossom and how they come together, and it becomes their love story, and it's so beautiful. Like, this is so, yeah, you've got that beautiful sapphic love story in this as well, which I always love to see. And then, yeah, you have the other husband who comes in, and the three of them, they join together and they form this really powerful, really beautiful relationship between each other. And the writing style in this, like, I cannot praise the writing style in this enough. Like, I love lyrical writing, really beautiful lyrical writing. Like, this doesn't go into purple prose at all, but it is very lyrical. It's very haunting. It's almost like poetry, if that poetry was soaked in blood and longing. Even the parts that aren't plot heavy in this, they're just so riveting because of how it is written. And I want to give you a little sample of the writing right from the beginning, so that obviously I'm not spoiling anything for you if you haven't already read this. So this is right at the beginning, and it says, "This is my last love letter to you, though some would call it a confession. I suppose both are a sort of gentle violence, putting down in ink what scorches the air when spoken aloud. If you can still hear me wherever you are, my love, my tormentor, hear this. It was never my intention to murder you. Not in the beginning, anyway." So I think straight away it really grips you. And then there's a part where she speaks about how he has taken her name. And again, this is right at the beginning, because I really don't want to spoil anything for you if you haven't read this book. He names her Constanta, and that's not her name, and she is only known as Constanta throughout this book. She can't remember what she was called back when she was human. Sorry, I'm just waving this feather around. This is my bookmark. And when she writes to him in this letter, she says, "You did not let me keep my name, so I will strip you of yours. In this world you are what I say you are, and I say you are a ghost, a long night's fever dream that I have finally woken up from. I say you are the smoke-wisp memory of a flame, thaw in ice suffering under an early spring sun, a chalk ledger of debts being wiped clean. I say you do not have a name." Like, it's just everything in this, every little bit of writing in this is just so moving and so stunning and just so lyrical. It just gets you straight away. Like I say, those are taken right from the start, and it stays like this in this beautiful poetic prose, but never going into purple prose all the way through. I can't recommend this enough. And if you want something that is really beautifully poetic, really lyrical, but also has a really powerful portrayal of both abuse, but then also a really beautiful romantic love between people as well, and just a really great exploration of polyamory, which is something that I didn't think I'd want to read, but like I say, like, I absolutely love this, and it really has changed my perspective. It's changed it's changed how I see the world. And I know that sounds dramatic, but that's what books do for us, isn't it? Like it really has changed how I look at things. And when a book can shift my perspective, when it can make me question my beliefs, that just makes me love it even more. This is like almost like a sort of meditation on love and on what it feels like to be devoured by someone who calls it love. You know, to have that love asserted in such a coercive and controlling manner, and how you were able to reclaim yourself from that, how you were able to form alliance with other people, how you were able to love again and to have healthy and safe love again. If you've ever loved someone who hurt you, or if you've ever blamed yourself for what you did or didn't do while you were just trying to survive in a toxic relationship or situation, then I really think this book is for you. I will say you may want to check the trigger warnings, and obviously always take care of yourself. I was in a place where I felt able to read this and where I actually found it healing based on my own previous experiences, but if I was a little bit closer to that, or I hadn't had perhaps the amount of therapy that I'd had about what I went through, I'm not sure that would be the case. So of course, please do take care of yourself. Let me know if you've read this. Let me know if you've read anything else by S.T. Gibson. I'm reading Evocation by her at the moment, and if you've got any recommendations of anything that is like similar to this, also let me know, because I would love to read them. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like and please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you soon.